Specsavers opticians and audiologists own their stores, so your care is their business, which can make them rather popular.
I've got something to tell you. I've got half an hour with them this afternoon.
Specsavers, your care is our business.
In every corner of Ireland, talented craftspeople are making beautiful, one-of-a-kind, handmade products. Whether you seek luxury, sustainability or modern design, thousands of made local products steeped in Irish heritage are waiting to be discovered. And when you buy Made Local, you champion our craftspeople and preserve their craft. This summer, take some of the real Ireland home. Made to love, made to gift, made to keep forever. Made Local, made to last. Visit madelocal.ie.
Make your savings work for you. With Raisin, you can earn up to 3.65% interest for your savings. A single login lets you seamlessly transfer your savings to banks across Europe with no fees. Learn how over 1 million European customers already earn high interest rates. Open your account today. Raisin.ie. Easy, flexible, secure. Raisin Bank AB trading as Raisin.ie is authorised by the Federal Financial Supervisory Authority in Germany and is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland for conduct of business rules.
Which would you choose? A 10-year or 1 million kilometre battery warranty? With the new electric Taurus EVX, you get both in a striking SUV. Contact your local KGM dealer or kgm.ie.
You ain't shit! I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
Well, fans can be the harshest critics, you know.
And they often are.
A wife is often the harshest critic of her husband.
I thought I was invincible. That's what you're trained to believe as a sports person.
There was 4 million people in Ireland who knew much more about managing football teams than I did. When it comes to music, I can spoof with the best.
Your sporting career is the best time you'll have, and you know you have to hang on to it for as long as you like, because everything else is pretty crappy.
And this is not lies. Stephen Rochford has never spoken to Jim McGuinness in his life.
Yeah, you're welcome back. I was just thinking there, Galway beating Dublin very unexpectedly, ending up in the final and all of that. Where have we heard that before? Well, let's hope from a Galway perspective, if you are from Galway, that tomorrow goes a little bit better. This is insane. So Kerry haven't won All-Ireland since 1993, Galway since 2004, when they're managed by PJ Fahey at a pretty young team and were expected to do some very good things. So we have a novel final tomorrow. Kerry are strong favourites, but we'll see what happens. Aislinn Desmond is in the house. What's the crack?
Clíodhna is in the house.
Jesus, where am I? Clíodhna O'Connor's in the house. I'm all mixed up already. How are we, Clíodhna?
I'm great.
What's going on? And you're going to get a goalkeeping perspective from me tomorrow.
Yeah. The goalkeepers are good though. They're solid, so they'll both do their job, I'd reckon.
We Tracey Leonard in the Galway corner.
Hi, how are things?
Not too bad. And we have Aislinn Desmond as well. How are we, Aislinn?
Hi, how are you getting on?
Not so bad. Okay, we'll start with you, Aislinn. From the Kerry perspective, is it a positive or a negative that they have experienced the finals and lost? This is a younger Galway team, more experienced Kerry team, or what you're taking it?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that it's a positive. Kerry have been in the 2 previous All-Irelands, 22 against Meath and last year against Dublin. I think that it'll stand to them, even on the routine of the day of the game, even the crowd, 40,000 odd, like that noise level. They'll be used to it. There'll be certain factors, even the heartache, that they'll bring through, no doubt, into Sunday's game.
Yeah, I suppose from the Galway perspective, Tracey, just from your own viewpoint, how I have to ask you this: how kind of hard is it for you to be there tomorrow and obviously not playing?
Yeah, I suppose you know what, it's a lot easier travelling up tomorrow. I suppose I suppose we were in Ireland in 2019 and. A lot of people would have said on the build-up, enjoy it. And it's very hard to enjoy it as a player because I suppose you're thinking of performance. And like as Aisling tipped on there, like the Croke Park experience is like no other experience. It's a very different pitch to playing in Tullamore or Burr or anything like that. For me in 2019 anyway, it's an experience that I'll never forget. The pitch is just, it's a daunting experience, I think, from a crowd perspective. You're never at a game before where you have 40,000 plus at a game, and it's very hard to even hear your own teammates on the pitch. So for that, Kerry will have that factor going in, I suppose, being in the last 2 All-Irelands. Galway have a relatively new team this year, new players and that. So the Croke Park experience is going to be a big factor tomorrow.
What were your own expectations ahead of the Dublin game?
From being a Galway person, we always giving Galway a great chance. I suppose Galway had a mixed year, I suppose, with the league not going as well for them, and they really turned around. And that day, I watched the game at home, and I must say they were the better team on the day. I think they took the Dubs by shock, I'd say. I think probably Carla Rowe being out on that day for Dublin was probably a big loss to Dublin. But Galway really had no fear against them, and I think they went at them. And probably were playing Dublin, it was very much a 1v1 game, as in every girl took their own player. And Galway, I think, really Galway's running game really suited, I suppose, playing Dublin, that they really penetrated holes in Dublin. And I suppose, getting the couple of goals that they wrapped up, really helped Galway, I think, overcome the Dublin victory. And so since that Dublin victory, they've really drove on and have really been, for me, they've really impressed me. And I suppose it comes down, I suppose, to the hard work that they've put in, because the league, I said, was very hard for them, being relegated down to Division 2. And from chatting to a lot of the girls, they were very disheartened over it. So I think the hard work has really been pretty evident that they've a lot of work done.
Did that surprise you, Clíodhna, that Galway could do that against Dublin when they're obviously massive outsiders on the day?
Yeah, they would. From objectively beforehand, people would say, "Oh, the Dubs will have this one, and Galway won't have enough of them." But watching the game and watching Galway this year specifically, they've had ups and downs, bit of a roller coaster. League didn't go as well. Lost that first opening championship game against Cork. So but there's always talent in Galway. Always, there has been for the last 10 years, And maybe this year we're seeing a lovely mix of some experience, some new players. There seems to be a lovely blend of that within the team. And the most impressive thing for me in the quarterfinal and the semi, quarter against Dublin and semi against Cork, it's just Galway keep an intensity and keep a pace to their game the whole way through. So I think coming into the end of normal time against Dublin, they were behind by 2-1, kept going. Same again coming to the end of extra time, kept going. So they don't let the pace drop. And even when they were ahead against Cork in the semi, they again don't let the pace drop. Tracy's talking about the running game there. They hold that pace the whole way through, which I think you often don't see teams do that, who play a running game like Galway do. It's obviously a credit to their fitness and all of that, but there's a real trump card in that, because they're never really finished ever, So did I think Dublin were going to win the quarterfinal? Yeah, I did. But when you're watching the game and watched it back since, there's something else about this Galway team, and they seem to have listen to interviews during the week. They're talking about after that Cork game, a bit of a come to Jesus moment, being very disappointed, and then Laois got it between the eyes in their next championship game. But there seems to be let's just go at this championship here. We weren't happy with Cork, and then the Dublin game again galvanised them. They just seem to be growing through the championship, I think.
Then, and Tracy mentioned the relegation as well. I guess sometimes you need to go really low to get high, and that's from which they kind of sprung.
I think so, because then what happens when a team has the sort of roller coaster season or gets relegated? It either splits you apart or it brings you together. And I think for this team, it seems to have brought them together. And they are relatively new, so of course there was going to be ups and downs. Of course there was going to be, with the new management team and all that, it wasn't going to be perfect from day one, but they seem to have weathered any challenges quite well and come together, which is a real testament to the group, I think.
Aisling, just on the Kerry situation, the record against Galway recently is very, very good. They're favourites to win the game. They've been there and come so close. Declan Quill is saying the right things, but there must be a bit of fear as well in that. You look at Louise Muir-Hurtig, how close she is to winning, and it's tantalisingly close. But you have these upstarts from Galway now who don't have fear.
Yeah, absolutely. Galway were very impressive against Cork. They really set up a strong wall, and Cork found it very difficult to get in. And then, once they just broke at pace, and they just have Roisin Leonard on form this year. She's getting goals in every game, and like that, I suppose they didn't let the emotions of beating Dublin get to them. They came into the Cork game really solid. It was a really level performance. They weren't just relying on one or two players. It was a really good performance overall. But I do think that Kerry will be very positive and very confident going into this game, especially after beating Armagh, who beat them twice earlier on this year. I suppose Armagh started very straight off and they're very fast, and they play with great excitement in the first 10 minutes. And it just took Kerry a while to get into the game. But then once they got the goal in the 68th minute, it just gave them that momentum. It just turned the game completely. And I just think that they just pressed on from there, and they were just very impressive against Armagh in the semi-final.
It must, like, you're thinking of motivational, chats beforehand from Declan, that, like, it can't be that hard. Like, this is like 30 odd years. When you think back at that Kerry team 30 years ago, it's unbelievable. Like, the odds would be 1,000,000,000 to 1 that they've gotten this far without winning All Ireland since, and there must be massive motivation there.
Yeah, there's massive motivation, no doubt. And do you know what? The support within the county has been absolutely phenomenal. So many of the large companies are really getting behind them, and even like the investment within the Kerry ladies has really improved over the last couple of years. Like, even like their strength conditioning coach, Eric McDonald's absolutely fantastic, and I think that he's done ferocious work with the girls over the past 2 years, and they're like we're really seeing the results of that now, because like they're so much stronger, they're so fit, and I just think they're really playing good football. Like, they're after introducing a couple of new players this year now back in again, like Imidineen, who's been instrumental in the forward line. Like, the reintroduction of Shifra after her ACL has been game changer. Like, she started her first game against Armagh last week and got player of the game. It's just like I feel like Kerry have like a wealth of experience as well. Like the likes of Lorraine Scanlon coming off the bench. She caught I think 5 balls in the space of 10 minutes when she came on, and like they just have real depth to their panel this year, and it seems like a really united team, and they're really showing their cards now this year, and they're really going after the All Ireland.
Where would you put Louise's form this year relative to other years?
I suppose they probably didn't really focus too much on the league this year compared to last year, and they did give other players an opportunity, I suppose, to see where they're at. And then I think that Louise has been injured with her hamstring and things, but it is good that they're not just relying on 1 or 2 players, to be honest. And there is a wide variation of scores, even from midfield. Anna Galvin's getting on scoreboard, Mary's getting on scoreboard. Do you know what? It is good that all the focus isn't just on one player, that if one player is marked out of it, the scores aren't ticking on. But that's not the case this year. I think all 6 forwards are scoring. Niamh O'Connor is doing ferocious work there at number 10. She scored the goal, and I think she even got the kick out from Ciara Butler. It was 3 kicks of a ball, goal. That's what you want to see in football.
Just the Galway coaching staff in the homes from my own parish, Tracy, and I suppose what's it been like under them, in the sense of what's Daniel done to get them back from where they were at?
As I was saying, the league getting relegated to Division 2, I know wasn't a nice scene, I suppose, and I know from chatting to a lot of the girls, they were very unhappy about it, and I suppose it's not a position that you want to be in. But I think, for Daniel's first year in, I think to get from where he was to win an All-Ireland final, I think just shows the amount of work that lad has put in. Not alone on, it's probably a lot easier to go as a player, but as a coach, he has to have put in phenomenal work. And I know from chatting to the girls, they're really enjoying the training. The strength and conditioning has been like no other from any other year. From chatting to the girls, it's a very different. You go in and there's no chat, and you're coming out sweating, which you can see that has reaped the rewards with the girls on the pitch, because I've never seen them as fit. Against that Dublin game, Dublin to me have been a phenomenal side and been very, very fit. And to see the Galway girls on that day, and absolutely the 90 minutes of football didn't knock a flitter out of them. I think it just shows that Daniel Moynihan has really made an improvement to the setup since he came in, along with Nicholas McDonagh that has been with him. I suppose they've been involved in minor as well. And I suppose bringing in a lot of minor and young girls as well has really added to this team, and it has really rejuvenated the older girls that are there, and I suppose has driven them on. And I suppose with the backing of the county board as well behind Dan, it's phenomenal, and I'm just so delighted for him, because I suppose there was a lot of talk after the league, and what way was this team going to go, and as Keena touched on, I think it could have gone either way for them, and I suppose Galway are probably fed up with listening to this, that, we're thereabouts and we haven't performed. And I think this Galway team has shown this year that, from the Dublin game and beating Cork, to beat Dublin and Cork in the 1 year, I think it has really shown that this side probably mean business this year.
Yeah, my sister Nora says she used to mark you in training back in 2013 when she was in the panel, and it must be a lot of ups and downs in the sense of commitment, belief, and a lot of, if you've a bad year, like coming back again and all the commitment that entails, this is equally applicable to the men's game, but certainly to your game.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose, after that game against Waterford up in Ballinasloe, I suppose when the girls got bet and it was down to Division 2, it must have been very hard for the girls, especially the more experienced girls in there, to head back to training again the Tuesday or Wednesday night. It's a very hard pick me up, and I suppose that's just down to the dedication, the commitment of the girls there, that we have to get up out of the ground now and push on, and they did that. I suppose to come to the Connacht final and turn around that and beat Mayo. For us, I suppose last year Mayo bet us 3 times last year, and Mayo were a very strong side, so to get the Connacht final win, I think that really kick-started it. And I know it's not all about winning, but I suppose Galway and us, we've had our fair share of losing in that. So I think it's great for the girls, I think, to be where they are tomorrow. All-Irelands don't come around that often. For me, in my 12 years of playing, got to an All-Ireland once. So I think the more experienced girls in the panel will be aware of this, and some of them may never get the opportunity to get back there again. So I think while they're there, they're going to have to relish it.
Clíodhna, what's it like when you're coming to the end and you're like, you were early 30s and you retired, and you had one All-Ireland, so it's like, okay, well, I've that banked, but it's a tough call.
It's always a tough call, because it depends on if some people it's the decisions made for them either by a manager or by an injury or something like that, but when you're weighing things up, because it takes a lot of commitment, and you're weighing things up and you're wondering, okay, what do I want to do?
What is the commitment like, actually?
What's the commitment like? Well, sure, it's all encompassing, really.
Takes over your life nearly.
Yeah, sure, it's elite sports. Of course, it does. No matter what, no matter who you're playing for, no matter what sport it is, when you're playing at the top of your game, it dictates a huge amount of your lifestyle. Your day-to-day living, your holidays, your home life, everything. Because. And especially a team sport, training is at X day at X time, and you have to be there. So you can't move your sessions around really for your own benefit. You've got a team to answer to, so it dictates a huge amount for yourself and your family. But people do it because they want to do it, because they love doing it. But it's like some people say sacrifice. You do make sacrifices, but it's also a life choice. It's a lifestyle choice. It's what you want to do with your time, because it is a finite career in sport, so you just prioritise it more than other things for as long as you feel you want to.
Well, I think there are parallels with the FAI Cup final in the League of Ireland now, where it's become a massive event, and the final is such a huge event now, massive crowd, and that must be some buzz.
Yeah, I mean it is. I suppose the scale of the event, everything around it has grown in the last 10 years, and I think the standard of football is matching that, and so I think everything is coming together at the right time. Aisling and Tracey are both talking about the physical conditioning of both teams. So again, looking at the previous games, no doubt about both teams are fit and strong and in good physical shape coming into the final.
Who's physically stronger?
I don't know. There's not that much. I would say Galway are faster. They seem to me now, I don't know, I'm just watching them on telly, but I'd say Kerry seem to have some taller players of greater physical stature, but Galway are fast as hell, in my opinion. And I think that's one of their trump cards. And both teams have really good ball carriers. So in the middle of the pitch between the 245s, you're going to see a lot of up and down, a lot of quality ball carrying, a lot of give and go, which is very hard to defend against. And for me, I think the game will be won with the forwards, with the shooting. Do you know that's what?
Well, where are Galway at that then? So Roisin and Olivia, just I think they might be both the top scorers in the championship this year. So Galway have a trump card in that regard.
Yeah, definitely. So you've got Roisin and Olivia, who are clearly in great form and also Albert Avern as well. And I think Galway seem to be more dangerous in terms of goal chances. They're happy to hold on to the ball. They transition fast up the pitch. Then if it's not on, they're happy to hold on to the ball, and then but they're quite good at finding a little gap I think they're more dangerous to get in for a goal shot. So I think Roisin put one wide against Cork, and Ailish Marcy hit the crossbar as well. So they're definitely more dangerous than Kerry, I think, from a goal threat. They probably don't score from as far out as Kerry. I think that's then what Kerry have got. Kerry can score from better angles, or from more angles, and from greater distances, I think. So you've got two slightly different advantages. So I think you'll see a similarity in the middle, and then two slightly different approaches in around the D in terms of scoring. So I think that it will be interesting to see how that plays out on both sides.
And Ashton, in terms of the Kerry support tomorrow, like the footballers, the male footballers didn't make the final, so is there a cross-pollination will people come up and support them tomorrow because they've been that close as well?
God, yeah, definitely. There's been huge support from around the county. They like the LGFA Kerry LGFA have really pushed now hard to get the support, because they were like, even the players were saying it after the Armagh match, that it was like they could hear the crowd, and it just got them over the line in the end. There is massive support for the girls. She's definitely can't wait to go up. I'm really excited, to be honest. Can't wait to see them tomorrow.
Well, yeah, over to you. I mean, Tracey, bit of a hangover from a lot of Galway fans from last week, and the race is thrown in the middle, but there's going to be a lot of noise tomorrow.
There sure is. I think, a lot of the clubs are running buses up for that, and I think for the younger girls in the county, it's really exciting times ahead. Just being in Claregalway there during the week, RT were there, and the field was full with maroon and white with young girlies running around there, and a lot of girlies saying, I'm getting the train up, I'm getting the bus up. So I have no doubt, there's going to be a lot of support there for Galway. Now, you are going to have the few, I think, that are very disappointed from last weekend, that had it in the head to travel again this week and can't just face the road. But look, I think, the girls are there, you have to support. And as Aisling said, I'm so excited. I can't wait for the morning to come. I'm like a child. I can't wait to see this game tomorrow, because I just think, it's two great sides in a final, and it's just going to be intriguing to see, who comes out on top. Very briefly, you can take the girl out of Galway. You can't take the Galway out of the girlie. Tracey, give us a call on tomorrow. I'm saying Galway. Who would have thought? Okay, so we're going to I think we're going to get Kerry from Kerry as well, are we?
Yeah, I think Kerry this year, definitely. It's their year. By much? I'd say that Kerry will beat them by 4. Wow, there we go. Actually, Trace, you take a 1-point win, would you? Yeah, it's going to be narrow, and I take 1 point, 2 point win, I think. Okay, very briefly, right, the last shout, and Clíodhna, you have to give us the goalkeeping situation, how important the kickouts will be, and who will win in about 30 seconds.
Well, I think there'll be even match on the goalkeeping, on the kickouts front. Both teams are solid. I think if the Kerry defence and Ciara Butler can keep the Galway goal scorers out, then I think Kerry will pip it. Pip it. It's going to be close. And a good game. And a good game, yeah. Yeah, and check it out. The TG Carr All-Ireland final tomorrow is going to be an epic. Thanks to the girls coming on, and we go to the ads.
Look out for News Talk on your streets with our fleet of electric vehicles, thanks to our car partner Volkswagen. Explore the versatility of the all-electric Volkswagen ID4, an urban SUV designed for every adventure life throws your way. Volkswagen, official car partner of News Talk.
Get ahead of back to school this year at Dunnes Stores. From prepping for their very first day to refreshing their uniform, now's the perfect time to shop schoolwear for the adventures ahead. Pick up a 3-pack of playproof polos from just €5 and knitted school jumpers from just €3.75. Stock up on essentials like Easy Care joggers from just €5 and sweatshirts from €3.75. Back to school at Dunnes Stores for little ones with big schedules. Shop in-store and online now. Terms and conditions apply.
I'd pretty much given up on dating apps, to be honest. I had enough of them. But I knew a friend who'd met someone on Go Dating, so I gave it a go. And yeah, it was great. I met someone. It wasn't like instant fireworks or anything, but we ended up chatting for hours, and 8 months later, we're still together.
You never know when you'll find that special someone, but at Go Dating, we'll do all we can to make it happen. Because when you know, you'll know. Sign up today at godating.ie. As loved by News Talk.
Why do we call it the Extraordinary Sale at Kildare Village? Because many of your favourite brands have up to 50% off the village price. 50%? That sounds extraordinary to me. The Extraordinary Sale, ending Monday at Kildare Village. It's a sale, but better. See kildarevillage.com for terms and conditions and participating brands.
For over 40 years, Mitsubishi Electric Ireland has experienced tremendous growth and transformation. As we expand, we're thrilled to announce a milestone. We're moving. Our new location in Dublin 22 will support our growing business, expanding teams and provide even better customer service, helping us deliver harmonised solutions for a smart and sustainable society. Mitsubishi Electric. Changes for the better.
We all need somewhere. The teammates, the team mentors, the team makers, the administrators, the lift givers, the lift teachers, the county boards, the county legends, the flag raisers, the flag wavers, the newcomers, the old-timers, the under-8s, the over-80s, the best friends, the biggest rivals. The 140th anniversary of the GAA is a time to thank every player, volunteer and supporter who nurture and enrich our games, our communities and each other. GAA, where we all belong.
This week at Power City, check out our mega deals on Bosch, Neff, Miele, Samsung and LG. For more information, go online to powercity.ie or call in store today.
People all over Ireland have smart meters, just like Niall.
After mine was installed, I signed up for a free ESB Networks online account. Anyone can, regardless of who their supplier is. Now I actually understand how I'm using my electricity. This has helped me pick a tariff that's right for me.
Niall's home is just like the other 1.8 million homes in Ireland that have a smart meter. Start seeing how your smart meter can work for you and sign up for your free online account at esbnetworks.ie. Join us to deliver a smarter, cleaner electric future. ESB Networks, energising your everything.
At Home Care Medical, we understand that care comes in many forms. Whether you're a caregiver providing for someone you love, someone receiving care, or taking steps to care for yourself, we're bringing the support you need right where you need it most, home. From care essentials, incontinence products, daily aids to mobility and seating products, Home Care Medical is your partner in bringing home care home. Visit your nearest Home Care Medical store or visit homecaremedical.ie.
As you already know, you can listen back to all our shows on newstalk.com/podcasts. But did you know that we also have original podcasts that you can listen to wherever, whenever? Show Me the Science with Professor Luke O'Neill.
Slow down climate change and save the Earth.
Inside the Crime with Frank Graney.
What happened to Sharon and her two beautiful girls was no accident.
As I Remember It.
I'm Bertie Ahern. And this is the story of the Good Friday Agreement.
And many more. Available now on the News Talk app, powered by Go Loud. On 106 to 108 FM, on the News Talk app, powered by Go Loud and Smart Speaker. This is News Talk, your IMRO National Station of the Year.
It's 2 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Breffney Clark. Fireworks have been thrown during two protests in Belfast in the last hour. An anti-immigration protest is taking place while a rally in support of Muslims continues across the road. In a statement, the PSNI say officers are in attendance to ensure people's safety and will continue to monitor the situation. Reporter James Gould is in Belfast.
Just in front of me, I can see riot police moving in now to totally close the road here at Belfast City Hall. Tempers have been boiling over and fireworks have been thrown over my head and back towards City Hall. The pro-immigration protest, according to Amnesty International, is in response to attacks on Muslim communities in England and planned Islamophobic protests in Belfast.
A young woman who was killed in an assault yesterday in County Cork has been named locally as Dana Walsh. The 27-year-old mother of two suffered serious injuries in an incident in Middleton yesterday. Alex Rowley reports.
A man in his 30s has been arrested in relation to this incident in Middleton. It's understood Gardaí received reports about a woman sustaining serious injuries at an apartment in the town yesterday afternoon. When they arrived, they discovered that Dana had died. A section of the property was also on fire, and fire crews from across East Cork rushed to the scene. The street near the town centre was closed off as emergency services carried out their work. The blaze was brought under control and the scene has been sealed off for a technical exam. A post-mortem on Dana's remains are due to take place at CUH in Cork. The man in his 30s who was arrested is being questioned at a Garda station in the south of the country.
The bank holiday weekend will come to an abrupt end, with the weather taking a turn for the worse from tomorrow. A status yellow rain warning has been issued for Clare, Donegal, Galway, Leitrim, Mayo and Sligo. Heavy rain coupled with strong and gusty southerly winds is expected to last from 1 o'clock Sunday until 1 o'clock on Monday. That's it for now. More at 3.
News Talk weather.
Thanks to Ryanair. Swap early alarms for late nights with Ryanair's low-fare flights to Italy, Spain or Greece.
Sunny spells and some showers today, but it will be mainly dry in the southeast. Highest temperature is 16 to 20 degrees. Now you're up to date on News Talk.
The Saturday panel on Off the Ball.
Yeah, that was my Leonard Nimoy in The Simpsons X-Files episode moment. Mr. Nimoy, we still have 10 minutes left. We were with the girls for another half an hour, of course. But I just want to mention what's on later on the show. Kenny Egan will be on at roughly 2:30 talking boxing. And then at 3 o'clock we have Graham Gartland, Dan MacDonald and Shane Keegan in. And just to mention as well, your favourite Off the Ball podcasts are available wherever you need them. Special offers in Apple too, or sign up monthly via Spotify. Plus, by just downloading and signing into the OTB app, you'll still get to sample how it all works with 3 free podcasts per month on us. And if you prefer to watch your OTB fix, become a member on our YouTube channel. Remember to sign up on your preferred platform. Subscriptions are not transferable from one platform to another. More detail and handy offers at offtheball.com/join. And a limited time offer. And this is a special limited time price of only 99.99. So €100 for a 1-year membership to the Off the Ball app. That's less than €2 for more than 50 hours of podcast per week. And do remember to support journalism. So yeah, the girls are back and we're going to talk about the match again tomorrow. Kerry v Dublin in the TG Carroll Ireland final. And if we were actually chatting throughout the break on this, Clíodhna, just where is the game gone in terms of physicality? Because I remember Vicky Wall before she departed. She was, and obviously with the way she plays, was a big kind of part of her game. Where has it gone? And if a lot of people listening in will watch the game tomorrow, maybe it might be the first game they'll watch this year. What's the standard of refereeing like? What's the tackle like? And how has the strength and conditioning kind of changed, I suppose, since you were playing?
Well, there's a good bit in that. I think, as we alluded to already, there's definitely the physical preparation of inter-county teams now has improved drastically in the last 10 years. So that's a given. Teams are fitter, stronger, faster, all of that stuff. So therefore, players are well able to and are happy to deal with, give a little bit more contact, a little bit more physicality. So there's no problem in that. And a lot of people don't agree with me on this, but I think there's a question of, is that what we actually want? Like, just because you can give and take shoulders, do you want the game to be played in that way? And I think we have to be careful about, if we are making rule changes, is that going to bring out the best in our sport?
That's a culture war, really, because it's like, okay, is it? Do we want to be more like the men's game in that regard, where it's gotten a little bit harder to watch, or do we want to actually promote the players that are strong? So it's a tough one to, I guess, give a definitive answer on.
Yeah, and what do you want to emphasise? So if it's a field evasion sport or invasion sport, so like, do you want to emphasise acceleration, finding gaps, evasion rather than the physical contact? Because as soon as you bring that in, people are going to play the game in that way, or a lot of people will move towards that, rather than saying, okay, some people say, there's no tackle in ladies football. Well, there is a tackle. There are rules. When the ball is out away from the body, you can play the ball. So do you go after being incredibly skilled at dispossessing, incredibly skilled at that tackle? Because it's harder. The ladies Gaelic football tackle is harder.
Why so?
Because the ball, you're waiting, you have to time it a whole lot better, because the ball has to be away from the body, either being held out to solo or hop or kick, and then you can go and you can dispossess. So you have to be a whole lot cleaner if you're doing it really well. And again, looking at the championship this year, what have we seen? Both Kerry and Galway, in my opinion, are guilty of it. just giving away lazy frees. So both of them do it because it's bloody hard. That the lazy
it's
football
lazy, but
hard.
it's in the moment as well. So it's quite different.
Lazy's in sloppy. So that, like they're running the game. Both teams are. The game is a running game. So if you're trying to dispossess someone who is sprinting at full speed with the ball, it's really, really hard to do. And what happens, a hand gets left in, or a hand on the back, or something like that, or a push, and it happens. It's not a laziness in a disparaging way because it's hard and because you're going full tilt. So there's a real skill in it, and I think you have to put a lot of effort into getting very good at it.
Tracey, I wanted to bring you in on that. And also, say if you have a situation tomorrow where there's a point in it, give or take, like last Sunday, it's very, very hard on the referee because there's an awful lot of pressure on, and we've seen finals in recent years with very controversial decisions. It's hard on the referee, it's hard on the defender to know when to make that tackle. How much emphasis would you put in the sense of that and where the tackling is at?
Yeah, I agree with Clíodhna there. I think your timing has to be impeccable, I suppose, getting a ball of anyone. Now, I suppose in saying that as well, I think, there's probably, in refereeing, I've seen it, you play one game and we have this very controversial rule of, like, if a player runs into another player and falls back, is it given to the player that's carrying the ball or is it given to the player that stands in front? And I just find it very frustrating as being a player. Different refs have different opinions on that, and I think it's very confusing as a player, and probably very confusing for management in what to coach is a right tackle and a wrong tackle. And for me, I just think refereeing, I think, is very, one ref gives one thing, another ref gives. That'd be my opinion on it. And I think it's as a player, it can be quite confusing. So
do you have specialist refs in terms of the women's game who are able to, or is the crossover hard in terms of knowing exactly how to make this call? And
I think the top refs in ladies' game football are good, and in fairness. But I think Tracey.
How many are you talking about?
Well, I think the top 5 or 6 I would say are good. Who you're going to see at the end of a championship, I think, and they're putting a lot of effort into trying to make sure their house is in order in terms of their standards. But I think, Tracey, that's a good distinction to make. So that rule about the charging, that is difficult. Again, we're talking about a running game. So I've got the ball and I just run straight at you, Johnny.
That's a foul.
But so who does it call? Is it me charging or is it you obstructing or blocking me? So that's
funny enough, in 1998, Galway against Kildare, right, John Divley basically charged and Eddie McCormack put his hands out and was pushed backwards by John Divley charging, free to Galway, goal for Galway from Pádraig Joyce. So what's the actual ruling though here now?
So I might misquote this now. So you're not allowed charge. So I'm not allowed run straight at you. If you're a defender and you have planted your feet and you hold your ground, then you're doing okay. But if I step in front of you, then my fault, free against me. So it's that. So a lot of teams are coached now. So get in front, stand your ground, and take the hit and fall backwards, and you get a free.
Okay.
But it's like,
a thin line.
It's a thin line, and that's the one I think that's very hard for referee. In some ways, the tackle, the dispossession, is an easier one to call.
Aislinn?
Yeah, no, I actually agree with them both on this. I definitely think that barging rule, there's definitely probably a bit of misinterpretation when you're playing. You don't know, say if you're running in on a player, you don't know if you're actually at fault or if you're actually going to be given a free. More often than not, it kind of depends on the ref, if I'm being honest. And there is a bit of inconsistency, I think, when you are playing, that it isn't just one rule. It just kind of depends on the ref, in my opinion. And it is easier to definitely call the tackling, to tackle someone is definitely easier when it's compared to the barging rule. I definitely think that the tackling one is easier to get correct, for management, when they're doing drills and trainings and things, it's definitely easier to implement that one than the barging one.
And say, Aislinn, the women of today versus the women when you start in terms of strength and conditioning and all of the training, how has that changed? How has that gotten more professional in that time?
Yeah, no, it definitely does. I think that once you're in with your county team, it's very tunnel vision and you do everything that you're required to do, and sometimes you'll even try to do more just to try to benefit the team overall. But God, it's definitely improved leaps and bounds from when I was playing. I was playing for Kerry for 12 years and I'm gone now 3 years, so that's like 15 years ago. It's completely different, as in even like the media around it, even the attendance at games. It's just phenomenal now compared to what it was. There's just so much more emphasis. Even I think I seen during the week that Be Perfect are now involved with the GPA, which is fantastic. And even the GPA, you know, all those things, they're like ladies football is definitely bridging the gap with men's football.
Oh, it's mad, Trace. I remember, I was on a show here one Saturday and I was late because I was watching, I think it was a junior Connacht final that Brendan's were in, and it was like you could stream it. And I was at a game lately in Kilkerran, it was in Clonberne, where you paid in. There was a big crowd at that as well. That was like an under 14s game or something like that. Massive buzz around it, and you can see the young girls who are there, like the role models that they have tomorrow, whether they're at the match or on TV.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think, you know, for Galway ladies and that, and getting to the final this year, I think it further promotes it. And, you know, for young girlings, they want to be involved because they're seeing their role models playing, you know, at a high level. And I think they want to be going training, and they're like, Mammy, please bring me Saturday. I want to go. And, you know, I think it's huge because I think for me, you know, sport, you learn so much in life about sport. I think sport teaches you, you know, to win and to lose. And I think nowadays in life, like, you need to be able to cope with highs and lows. And I think for me, like, sport has taught me that, has given me so much in my life. And I think it's just, it's huge for young girlies to come on, to see this tomorrow, to be up there tomorrow. And it's not alone that, but I suppose you see Kilkerran Clonberne's success in Galway as well has really the game within Galway. And to see, you know, 3 All-Irelands in a row coming to Galway, you know, I think it's benefited the county in leaps and bounds. And, you know, hopefully that success, I suppose, of Kilkerran Clonberne will stand. And they're used to the Croke Park factor. So, you know, you're just hoping all these things will come together tomorrow.
When you step down, like, I mean, I was reading this morning the article, when you stepped down that you were at peace. Are you still at peace? You know, when you make the road up tomorrow, you're like, no, it was the right decision at the time.
Yeah, no, for me, it's the right decision. Like, I think, as Clíodhna said there at the start, I think not that the decision was made for me by anyone, but I personally had the decision made for me. And even last year, I contemplated going back, and I gave it the year. The setup for me was very good, and I was enjoying it up to a point. And the enjoyment for me was the big factor. The enjoyment had gone, and that for me made the step away easier. I suppose, like, the girls that I would have been friendly with in there, they had moved away as well. And, you know, it's a new generation that's coming on board. And I was definitely at peace with it. And I think I always used to think, how am I going to step away? You know, it's all I've known from a young age, and I loved involved in it. And, like, I didn't find it a commitment, or I didn't find I was, you know, sacrificing life. And it was the latter months and the latter year that, you know, really frustrated me. And, like, the game has changed since I started out like 12 years ago. And
good or bad?
It's very much a game that's built on fitness and hand passing and all that. And for me, like, the level of skill has, you know, it's not, the level of skill isn't there anymore. Like, you know, Kerry now are different. Like, Kerry do very much play a very kicking game, and it's great to see, you know. But in general, even within the county, and that the game is built on fitness and hand passing, and it's just it frustrates me, and frustrating me in there. It's very hard to be in an environment that frustrates you, and you're coming home in bad form. So the easier option was just to finish up. And look, I'm happy with the 12 years. I really enjoyed it, but, you know, I think time comes when you just have to move on.
I've wondered that many times in the men's game, in the sense of the way it's changed and the structure of the game and the way it's kind of killed the classy footballer in many respects, where there's a lot of hand passing across the pitch and all of that. But, like, that moment, we'll say, like, Tracy, when that moment, was it quite sad and you're like, I'm just not really enjoying this anymore?
Yeah, it was, because, like, I suppose, as I said, sport was all I know, and, you know, I've been at it from a young age, and it's hard to pull away from something that you loved. But I think when you have come around, when you've come full circle on it, and the decision is made by you, it's not influenced by a particular manager that's there, or I think it's just when you have had enough, it makes it easier to walk away. And I suppose life brings new things. And like as Clíodhna mentioned there, in with a team, you have to be there at a certain time and certain days and that. Whereas, I suppose on the flip side now, I can do my own exercise or do my own thing at my own time and at my own day. If it doesn't suit this day, you can do, and I think for me, COVID probably helped in that sense, I suppose, in COVID when we couldn't train collectively as a team and you were doing your own bit. And that for me probably prepared me for retirement. And I know COVID wasn't a great time in any of our lives, but it kind of, it led me into new paths and I suppose new hobbies and that I've taken up. And hey, like you miss the girls. That's the biggest thing for me. I miss the girls and I miss the crack and that. But, I suppose we can still organise catch-ups and that. But I think it's just the style of football just kind of has pushed me away. And sometimes it's hard to watch. It's kind of, like I heard the other day, they're on about introducing new rules, we say, for football and that. And I just think if you have to go messing with a game and bringing in rules and not having like 15 behind a ball and that, I just think it's taken away the game of football, which, historically, like you look at the 1998 men's All-Ireland when Galway were in it, and like when I watch back that and you see the skill level that was there and the kicking of the ball, and it's a joy to watch. Like it's very different nowadays.
Jeez, we're getting into big culture wars here because, to be honest now, Aisling, I want rule change brought in that the 3 inside forwards just can't leave the opposition half. Simple as that. I'm watching that game last Sunday, and as much as Galway's inside forward line had a bad day, it was like, just change the rules and we win this game. But I don't know what Tracey's saying there. A lot of people will be definitely striking a chord with it. Where are you on it?
Yeah, no, I'm with Tracey on that one. I definitely think that football has changed, and even just on the Kerry men, even it's a very lateral now compared to more direct football, kick you the ball and things. It is a hard watch, definitely, and it's it is sad to see the way that's the way football is going, and like that, if they are going changing rules just to make sure that there's not 15 behind the ball, it definitely takes away from it. The skill of it, I suppose we probably have the most skillful footballer ever with Kerry, Dave Clifford, and just not being able to see him showcase his skill because there's 4 on him, and there's still backs everywhere. There's just no space. You just can't really show off your skill set, I suppose. And it must be so frustrating from an inside forwards perspective just to have such a defensive wall up and just trying to get scores off. It's hard on everyone. It's hard on spectators. It's hard on the inside forwards. It's just, football has definitely changed. Bring back the kicking game, definitely.
I'll bring you in on that.
I see it. I mean, everyone's talking about it at the minute, and I think maybe ladies football need to be mindful of, because think about it, right? We've talked about the running game now today. Both teams do that. Generally, physiologically, biologically, women, we can't kick as far as fellas do, so we carry the ball more. There'll be loads of carrying the ball from the 21 to the opposite 21, but that actually lends itself to allowing the opposition defence set up. So you're allowing people to get back behind the ball, and then it's even harder to score. So Kerry will probably kick the ball a little bit more. Again, the semi-final, the quarter-final, you saw them hitting Danielle O'Leary, coming out, winning the ball, winning a 50-50 battle. So a little bit more of that with the Kerry team. But if we're all saying there's too many people behind the ball and there's too many people, the defence is too well set up and everyone's playing zonal and it's hard to get a score away, the more we run the ball up the pitch, the more we're feeding into that or allowing the opposition to do it. So what do you do when you're coaching women's football team? Because we can't. Generally speaking, we can't kick it 60 or 70 metres. So how do you move the ball quicker up the pitch? So you won't see a huge amount of ladies football team when they win the ball on their own 21 or inside their own 45 look up. They'll just carry, and they'll do the carry very well. They'll do, like Olivia Dibley is exceptional. Get her on the ball, run with the ball, she plays her head up and she'll beat about 4 or 5 people and there'll be people off her shoulder. So they execute the running game. We execute the running game really, really well. But there's a consequence of that, is the opposition have time to come back. So then you end up, you're sitting at the top of the D with a packed defence. So now what are you going to do? So now your shooting has to be excellent. and that'll be a big thing tomorrow, I think, for both teams, is what will their conversion rate be like in small spaces? How far? Kerry, again, as I was saying, can probably kick from a little bit further out from more angles. So that's their skill being shown. Galway, on the other hand, they seem to be better finding those little gaps. Pockets, hold on, there's a gap, let's go for it, let's get in behind and score a goal. So it'll be which one of those strategies works better, I think. But I think we have to be careful in women's football about how we're coaching the game. As if it's all running game, then that's just a fact. We're going to come up against zonal defences because they've time to get back.
All right, I'll ask the three this, and I'm expecting a similar answer. I'll ask you first, Clíodhna. Did you watch Galway Armagh?
I did, yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Massively. I did. Funnily enough, we were talking in the break. I've started getting involved in hockey, which is more a more tactical game. I am now more appreciative of tactics. I would find soccer quite boring, but the lateral stuff, the lateral play, there's a lot of that in hockey. Because I've been around a hockey team for 2 or 3 years, I can appreciate what they're trying to do a little bit better. Before, I'd be like, this is absolute torture. So while it's not the entertaining game of football, I'm starting to appreciate the skill and the tactical prowess of keeping a ball and finding gaps and creating scoring opportunities. A little bit slower, but I can appreciate it a bit more.
Very nuanced. Aisling, if you didn't watch it, I don't mind. If you did watch it, though, what did you make of it?
No, I did watch it, yeah. I similarly, it was kind of cagey affair at start, and then I suppose in the last 10 minutes it did open up. But
is that not modern football though? Now it's like, and Joe Rowley said this: do nothing for an hour and just show up for the last 10 minutes because you won't miss anything. It'll be level, it'll basically be level.
Oh God, let's hope not. But I think that as in just going from what Clíodhna said there about Kerry being able to kick from distance, Galway kicked from distance, O'Connor, I think he scored 3 points, and the other midfielder for Armagh, he scored 3 points. And it's the players that everyone was talking about, Comer, Finnerty and Welsh, everyone was talking about them coming into the game will they light it up? Will Comer be on form? Will Welsh do as well as he did against Tom Sullivan again in the final? But that, none of those players could even get on the ball. It was really defensive from Armagh. It was really well constructed by them, definitely. And even when they were coming up the pitch, they were doing an overlap to one side. And they all knew the call, they all knew the move. As in, it is difficult to watch, but I suppose at the end of the day, do you care if you're winning? If you win in All-Ireland, if Kerry or Galway win tomorrow, and would you care that you had to play a bit defensive and you come up with the Brendan Martin? That's your goal at the end of the at the end of the year, to get the Brendan Martin. So I suppose you're just trying to prevent the other team from scoring and then just try to clock up your own scores. But I do think that Kerry always keep Louise, Emma, Deneen and Danielle kind of in a diamond shape, or a triangle shape at the in the forwards, and then their half back line or their half forward line do go back into the half backs. But they do kick the ball in, and that's where they are clinical. When the ball gets up into Deneen, she's superb in there, and then she just has that off lay then to either Louise or Danielle that are off the shoulder.
Yeah, I suppose, Tracey, what Aisling said there is fine. It doesn't matter if you ultimately Armagh won the game. The problem is though, if you have a sport that neutrals are turned off by, which is an issue in Gaelic football now, there's no doubt about it, that's a problem. What did you make of Sunday?
Obviously, I suppose as a Galway fan, it was heartbreak. But as Aisling said there, you had the likes of Shane Walsh, which is very, very, he's up there with David Clifford and being one of the most talented footballers. And when you see the likes of him find it very hard to get on ball and not showcase his skill set, it just shows you where the game has gone. And both sides, Armagh, were quite good at the running game as well. Galway were quite good at the running game, and it was actually great to see. I suppose Paul Conroy kicked them great scores. To be that accurate so far out, it was a plus for the game. A lot of scores are running it in, hand passing over the bar. But for me, it was just, I think it's soul destroying to see Shane Walsh's skill set and not being able to showcase it. And then I suppose for him probably to come down hard on the whole lot of it when the game was over, and oh, if Shane Walsh is scoring this and if Shane Walsh has kicked these frees, and you know, I think that's just so hard on the fella, because
this is really weird as well, because these are amateur sports people. Like, and I've always had an issue with this. Like, fair enough, he's front and centre and he's very talented and all that, but he's not making money from this. Like, so you're giving him all this, like, you know, criticism on social media. Shane Walsh this, Shane Walsh that on WhatsApp. Like, he's just lost an All-Ireland final here in a game that isn't there to suit him at all.
Yeah, and I think, like, without him, I don't think they'd have bet. Like, it's a 15-man game, but like he without him, he kept going it for the first half against beating the Dubs. And talks about that. All it's talking about now is, oh, if he'd scored this free and if he'd scored that free goal, he wouldn't have won on All-Ireland. But, like, you know, you didn't see anyone else putting up their hand on that day to say, oh, look, Shane, I'll take this free or I'll take that. You know, for a man that's so talented, it's disappointing to see that the game no longer, I suppose, plays for people that have skill, and it's a very different game. And like as Aisling said, it's very Lasher. Like, there on Sunday, like, for a good few minutes, the game was back over, a very cagey affair.
Yeah, well, you touch on this, and this is something that I've been thinking of as well, Clíodhna, in the sense that, and just Tracey mentioned it there, if you need to change the rules of a game, is there something wrong with the game itself? And that's a fair point, but like, Gaelic football does need a change at this stage, because the defensive game just isn't. It's like she mentioned 1998. It's so different from then. It will turn people off, in my view.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, what do you do? Does everything come in phases? You know, we didn't play in this way before. Now we're starting to play more tactically, more about possession, because we're doing more stats, and we're saying, okay, well, if we have the ball, then that's what we want, and everyone's measuring what we do with our possession, and don't give the ball away, the ball is precious, all of this stuff. So we know more about how to tactically play these games, how to set yourself up for success a bit more. So we're always thinking about risk reward. So even like you go down to a local club and they're telling people, don't kick a 50-50 ball. You know, so we're actually we don't want to play individual battles.
Yeah.
We don't want to kick 50-50 balls, because we know now, this ball is precious, you know. So there is a question about how we want to coach the game, and in some ways, like, is tinkering with the rules the right thing, or is it how we coach the game? Is it how we want our games to be played, and is it the coaching of it that is the key thing? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, if you have a situation where you have a hurling final that's lauded as one of the, you know, the greatest events ever, and it's literally every second is. And the other thing as well is, like, Aisling, if you're at a game, football now has become a bit like kind of communion at mass for much of the game, where it's just quiet. There's kind of a bit of a murmur, nothing happening. It's like, what's going on here? We'll go for a pint. Will we come back? Blah blah blah. So it's all right. Nothing's going to happen for the next training, and that's problematic.
Yeah, no, and it was like stark contrast compared to the hurling final. Like, as in, that was unbelievable. Like, I watched it here, and it was like the atmosphere alone looked unbelievable, and like Cork at start looked like they were going to walk away with it, and then Clare were all over them then. And do you know what? As in, like, that was such an enjoyable, like, All Ireland, and like, obviously enough Kerry isn't known for hurling or anything like that, but it was such an enjoyable game to watch. I definitely think that, like, football has changed, you know, as in, like, people talk about that, like, I think Jack O'Connor said it after the Armagh match, that Kerry supporters weren't out supporting, and that the Armagh fans were really loud, and that the colours were, like, really evident in the crowds. But like that, you know, like, I don't think that I suppose, like, the attraction isn't there compared to previous years, you know.
What are the club games like in Kerry from your perspective? Like, is the same thing, or?
In the men's?
Both even.
The men's, just watched, and more my local team now were playing Kimmer Shamrocks, which would be Sean O'Shea's, and he scored 10 points in that game. Like, I watched the Fossa, which would be the Cliffords. They were playing Beaufort in the game before, and like, it was 2 points to, like, they only scored 2 points in the first half, Fossa, and like, they would have been like favourites to win that game against Beaufort. Similarly, like, as in, it was similar to how Kerry played, that lateral game, over and back, looking for a bit of a break, trying to find the holes and try to break through, but just wasn't really happening, you know. Like I suppose if you're seeing the county team play that kind of lateral slow game, it is automatically going to be put into the club scene, because that's how the top players are playing, you know. So it's gonna, like, it's automatic that it's going to happen.
And when you retired, could you relate to what Tracey's saying there? Had your sort of level of enjoyment dipped, or was it just the right time for you?
No, I definitely think it was the right time for me. I felt like that kind of like my footballing chapter was closed, and I was just kind of excited then about what was yet to come. What was to come? Like, as in when you're in football, you kind of put everything on hold. And I suppose I'd never really been on like many foreign holidays, and, you know, like even being able to get married since has been fabulous. And just those kind of occasions, like, as in, like, I would have missed a lot, like weddings and things like that when you're in the team. But it's like anything. When you're in it, you don't see anything wrong with it. You know, as in, like, it's the norm, because like you don't want to let the players down, and you want to play to the best of your ability, and like, as in, you want the team to do the best they can. So you're trying to do your best at that time. But for me, I definitely feel like that it was the right time for me to leave. Like, I played for 12 years prior to that. I was kind of like early 30s, kind of at that age, you know. So I definitely think it was the right stage for me. Probably, yeah, similar to Tracey, I was, you know, you're probably better off leaving before you're pushed out, or that you're injured, and that, like, you don't get the choice. So I definitely think that it was definitely the right choice for me. And I'm, you know, like, as in, I look back on it now and I have such fond memories, and, you know, like, I suppose it was difficult to make the decision, because it was all, you know, like, as in, it's what you've been doing for the past 12 years. But like, that COVID definitely helped when you're on your own training, when, you know, you're not really in the camp as much, and, you know, it kind of prepared me, I suppose, you know, for what was to come and how much time you would have available to yourself.
Yeah, would you? So, Tracey, if you were, say, 17, 18 years of age now, would you be as willing with the structure of the game to get as heavily involved as you did back then, or no?
I probably would, because I suppose if I was that age, I probably would have been trained the way the game is, being coached the way the game is played now. So I probably wouldn't know no different, and probably that'd be the way I play the game, you know. But I suppose I came trained, you know, in an era where, you know, when I came at club level first with my club and our coach, it was a kicking game at that stage. Like, it was kicked from your midfield, it was kicked into inside forward. You know, it was a lot more of a kicking game. And I suppose that for me, my club in Kerfin, that's all we would have done. And I suppose we had a lot of rivalry with your sister's own club in Ballygar, and would have played them for many's a year. But I suppose I would know no different if I was at that age coming into the setup. That's what I would be used to. And look, at if I was back that age again, I love getting into sport, and I'd be promoting, encouraging everyone to get into sport. It's just, from where I started to now, it's very contrasting. You know, the skill of the game was huge back then, whereas now it doesn't really matter whether you can kick the ball. If you can run and hand pass, you'll get away in the game. Is from what I can see.
That's not good. It's called football. Like, that's not a good place to be in. We were going to have to wrap, but for all of that, the two of you will be absolutely buzzing tomorrow when the ball is thrown in.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait to travel up that road tomorrow, and I suppose see, you know, it's going to be, as Aisling might be saying, but I can't wait to just sit back and see what happens and not be nervous or, you know, waiting for the game to be over. But you know, I can't wait for tomorrow.
Aisling, you're smiling anyway.
Yeah, no, similarly, like, as in, Tracey hit the nail on the head there. Just so excited to go up and just watch it. And, you know, like that, you're not, like, you don't have that pit in your stomach with, oh my God, will I play well? Oh my God, will we win? Just the nervousness that goes with it. It's just so, like, it's just going to be such a nice day now tomorrow, going up, watching it, and just hopefully coming away with the win in the end.
Thanks a million. And thanks to Clíodhna as well. You're going to watch it in lovely Claresfive by all accounts.
That's where I'll be, stuck down in the middle of the Kerry supporters.
Got the accent already. And she's tipping Kerry. So it's 2 to Kerry, 1 to Galway from our experts. Kenny Egan is next.
The Saturday panel on Off the Ball. Unified with Momobo Ogoro.
On this week's episode of Unified, what is accentism and why is it one of the most seemingly acceptable forms of discrimination? Mental health advocate Blessing Dada is also going to be joining us in sharing her story on overcoming adversity. And lastly, we'll be having the cracker with Go Dance for Change, who'll be joining us and dancing with us in studio.
Unified with Momobo Ogoro.
This Sunday at 8 p.m. on News Talk or on podcasts on the News Talk app powered by Go Loud.
This project is funded by Comishún na Man with a television licence fee.
Electric Picnic Music and Arts Festival, Stradbally Hall, County Laois. With headline performances from Noah Kahn, Calvin Harris,